Do you feel like the money you're making on paper doesn't match up with the life you're living now? You could have a financial blind spot. Today, we're going to talk about how you can find and break mindless spending to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year. Welcome to the Couple Money Podcast, the show where we share stories and advice on building up your marriage and wealth together. I'm Elle Martinez. Support for this podcast comes from Jumpstart Your Marriage and Your Money Masterclass. This course is designed to help you two get on the same page with money, dump your debt faster, and get you on the path to financial freedom. Sign up for the class today and get lifetime access. Just head over to couplemoney.com/jumpstart. We all do it. It might be small amounts every day. Perhaps driving by to grab some coffee and breakfast on the way to work, or going out for lunch with colleagues. Might be those Amazon deliveries that show up at our doors, tucked away with the necessities that we did order. Some people call them spending leaks, maybe impulse buying, mindless spending. The label doesn't really matter. What does is understanding that we all have blind spots. Little places in our finances where we know we're spending something, but we're not aware of just how much it is. Inspired by the incredible site and story behind Break the Twitch, I wanted to share something a little bit personal about how easy it was for us to slip into mindless spending and how we found a way to make sure they don't sabotage our finances. In this episode, we're going to get into finding your financial blind spots, breaking the mindless spending twitch, and developing habits that can enrich us and allow us to spend better. Between our experience and being a personal finance writer, I'm familiar with impulse spending and what to look out for. But most recently, I had this great reminder of how we can subconsciously just get right in our budget and throw us off with our finances. I was listening to Matt DeVello's Ground Up show, and he was interviewing Anthony Ongaro. And they were talking about minimalism, social media, and how to build your life around what matters to you. And I was exploring Anthony's site, Break the Twitch. And what caught me was there was a pivot point in his life where he realized that he needed to reset things. And believe it or not, it was Amazon. He was getting these deliveries with his Amazon Prime membership, and it started increasing, becoming more frequent. And that enough, you might think, okay, my budget's going to be affected by this. But it was something else that he mentioned. He realized there were times he had no idea what was in the delivery. And mind you, he was a Prime member. So in that space of 2 days, he'd forgotten what he was ordering. So this wasn't extra spending. It was also mindless extra spending. And that kind of might seem ridiculous to you, like you would forget what you had ordered. But it instantly connected me to Anthony because I remember that Amazon was a tricky blind spot for us. And even nowadays, we have to work to stay on top of that. Anthony describes this impulse buy as a twitch, which I love. It's this impulsive, unproductive response. And the cause of it is some kind of discomfort. And if you go on his site, Anthony has a few situations in which this twitch can appear. For example, maybe you want to exercise and get in better shape. Well, what do we usually do? Okay, what's the best equipment I can get? Maybe it's a new Fitbit, might get those gymnastics rings, whatever. Or when you feel hungry, do you reach for the healthy snack? You have to prepare something, or you go for what's in the vending machine or what's on the way home drive-through. Even when we're bored in the checkout line, we find some way to get a distraction, and it could be our smartphone. And the same thing can happen with our finances. We make these purchases, they're impulse buys, and for the moment we feel like it solves a need, but they don't usually end. It's something that can snowball out of control. For both our situation and the way Anthony described it, when you look back at the years of spending, we're talking about thousands of dollars. In our situation, yes, the majority of them were items that we had planned for and wanted to have. And this was in our budget, but within it were these impulsive buys and add-ons that created spending that just didn't align with our big goals. So how do you fix this? How can you identify your blind spots and change course? Well, the first step is awareness. What Anthony did was download his spending history. I believe it was 4 years, and he was able to see what he spent on. And just seeing the sheer amount of it opened up his eyes. Now, for us, we also had to be aware of spending, but we had to look at the individual orders and see the patterns. Why? Because in our budget, we do have an Amazon spending amount, and we also have a household spending. In stores, not just Amazon, but like say Target, Walmart, Costco, a lot of times you're blending several different categories. So it's easy to maybe spend more than you thought because they all are lumped together. So be aware. If it's another category, maybe eating out, look at money apps to help track those expenses. Mint, Personal Capital, Tiller, those are ways that you can easily see what's going on. But if the two of you want to work on now what's going on this month, keep daily track of your spending. Write down, okay, we spent this much here, here, and here. It might seem a little bit tedious, but it can be really simple if you have a whiteboard, and it will help you be aware of any spending habits that you do have. Okay, so now you see we have a problem. We're spending a little bit more than we're supposed to. What can we do to reduce that? We'll see what your triggers are. Now with Amazon, they are fantastic about finding and suggesting items that you might like based on previous purchases. One thing that helped us was turning off those notifications and emails that we got from them. Less noise also meant less temptation to go over our budget. And that might be the case for you. Maybe you have an app that suggests different things to purchase or sign up for. Turn off the notifications. If you are planning on buying stuff and you're worried about missing out on a deal, get your order in first before purchasing. Then you can maybe look in your inbox under promotions tab or however your email works and see if there's a deal that matches what you're already planning on buying. Another one is have a time frame for certain purchases. Maybe the two of you sit down and you're saying, we really like to have that. Maybe wait a week, could be 30 days. Do we really need to have this? You may find that it wasn't as big of a deal as you thought. And of course, you want to sit down when you have some time and really think about why are these purchases being made? Many times it fills a need in the moment, but you want to think long term. Perhaps instead of purchasing things, you can explore options like borrowing or renting. Maybe you can also see if you can become more of a creator versus just a consumer, which I know doesn't specifically deal with personal finances, but it can help you get to the root of your problem and reduce and minimize that mindless spending. You can then use that money towards the big wins and your big goals in life. If you want to break out of that mindless spending cycle and instead start living more intentionally, please check out Break the Twitch. It's a fantastic site. Anthony has some great videos in there. As always, I'll include links to resources that can help you guys get started. And if you too want to get everything we release, not just the podcast, but videos and articles that can help you guys build up your wealth together and work as a team, please join the community. You can get all this stuff for free, as well as some behind the scene and exclusive stuff. Just head over to couplemoney.com/join. Our theme song was written and performed by Gentle Regime. Additional music by Lee Rosevear and Music for Makers. Finally, I want to say thank you. I'd love to hear from you, especially with this episode. You now know that Amazon is our blind spot when it comes to spending. What's yours? Ping me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Couple Money. I hope you have a great week. Take care.